Back at it with chest day number 2 of the week. Starting off with incline bench. Today's kind of a incline day, where the first chest day of the week was mostly flat. Today's mostly incline. I always see a bunch of videos and stuff online about working your upper chest, when in reality, like doing incline, like that upper chest muscle is teeny tiny. All like the graphics and pictures you see where like the upper chest is taking up like 2/3 of your pec, it's just not really accurate. The chest muscle is, pretty massive, and it goes all the way up to your upper chest. So working your upper chest is kind of a fallacy, whereas even an incline bench works that major pec muscle. So anyway, what am I trying to say here? I don't really know. Just trying to mix it up, do something a little different, especially since I'm doing 2 chest days a week. Want to mix it. I don't want to do the exact same thing. So definitely going to mix it up at least a little bit. Not so much focusing on that upper chest that, kind of doesn't even really exist. I just wanted something a little bit different. Going a little bit wider here. Did 315 last week. Put the heaviest weights in the gym on the bar, so 2.5s. And we're gonna see what happens. Cool. Man. And then if you're doing progressive overload like I am, and let's say I did 315 10 times last week, maybe I couldn't do 315 for 11. But there's so many different ways to progressively overload. You could add 2.5 pounds and do the same amount of reps. You can do one more rep. You can do another set, or you can just do it with better form. There are so many different ways to progressively overload than just add weight or add reps. And eventually, even if you're doing the same weight, same reps, but you do better form, it's going to be harder and harder because you're using better form. And eventually, 315 is going to be super easy. And then you'll be able to jump up. So don't think just because you're stuck at a certain weight and a certain rep that it's not necessarily not progressive overloading, especially if it's getting easier and easier and you're using better and better form. So there are multiple ways to do the same thing. And maybe you don't think 2.5 pounds is a lot of weight, but 2.5 times 2 is 5. And let's say you're doing that every week for 5 weeks, that's 25 pounds. I mean, is it realistic to be able to put 5 pounds a week on a lift and still be able to do the same amount? Probably not, but you get the idea. Just micro gains, as they say. There's a reason I'm using the 2.5s, because maybe next week I'll add 5s, or I'll keep the 2.5s. Instead of 10 reps, I'll do 11, maybe 12. So it's just those teeny tiny little incremental gains that over the course of a month, 6 months, a year, make a huge difference. And that kind of leads me into saying consistency. It's not really what you do once, it's what you continually do. If you come in here and you're constantly being super consistent and coming in here almost every day, every week, those micro gains turn into big fucking leaps. Oh. And another hot take theory I have, it's funny when, so going to the gym is inherently more difficult than not going to the gym. But even so, it's very apparent that people, even though they are going to the gym, they're doing stuff, they tend to do what is easiest, what will get them the most results the quickest. I mean, that's why you hardly ever see anybody on the hack squat, on a real hack squat. You know why? Because it's hard. You don't see as many people doing incline bench press as you do seeing flat bench press. Why? Because it's harder and you can't go as heavy. And you know what I never see anybody on? I've never waited once in my life for the seated shoulder press rack, ever. Never waited once for it because it is stupid hard and you cannot go heavy. So I think you need to kind of take a step back and don't do these, flashy, exciting, new, trendy lifts or exercises or, whatever. You got to look at it holistically. And it doesn't matter what your lift is if your diet is shit and your sleep is shit. If you're trying to put on some muscle, but you eat like a bird, you're going to see zero results. So I think instead of going after all these, super quick answers to benching 225 or whatever it is, you take a step back and you simplify everything. And if you're not making gains in the direction that you want to do, you're either not doing enough, you're not doing something right, or you're doing completely the wrong thing and you need to change. But you just need to pick something simple that you know is going to work and bust your ass doing that thing. I think a lot of people think, oh, I just showed up at the gym today, I'm going to get results. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. Nothing I do here is complicated. It's incredibly simple. It's frankly kind of boring. But I go to failure and I push my ass off and almost die several times every day. And I'm not saying you got to go that hard, obviously. But, you got to take a look at your intensity and really talk to yourself and be like, am I pushing as hard as I think I should or could or want to be able to make the changes and the gains and hit the goals that I want to hit? I think if you were to have that conversation with yourself, a lot of you, if you were honest, you would know the answer. Oh, fuck. And that's the beauty of using these things. You can actually go to and past failure, those past last few reps, you know, probably don't even count, but as far as stimulating growth, they probably count the most. The unfortunate thing about getting stronger or putting on muscle and size and strength is compared to all the other type of workouts, it's the most boring. Because you're just usually just doing straight sets. Every now and then you might have a superset, but you lift and then you rest. So I mean, I get it. That's why a lot of people don't like it. Oh, it's boring. Well, if you want those results, you got to find a way to fall in love with the process. If you think it's boring, first of all, I'm under the assumption that your time working and lifting, you're not going hard enough. Because if you're just bored and not actually recovering from that last set, I can almost guarantee you didn't go hard enough. And if you go harder, it won't be so boring, and you're going to be begging for those times in between sets to be a lot longer. All right, let's see if did I get in the middle even a little bit? Close enough. Okay. Wow. Oh. 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 Yeah, I'm pretty sure last week I had to wait for someone to finish up with a cable, so I had a lot longer break last week than I did this week. That's why it's so much more difficult. Oh man. See, like, perfect example. Am I bored right now? Fuck no. I'm not bored, I'm dying. Can't wait for these 3 minutes. I'll probably want 5. So just try it once. If you think straight lifting is boring, actually go hard and push yourself. And then tell me if those times in between sets are boring. Oh. And then, not to be a negative Nancy today, but on the topic of quick fixes and trying to get, the easy route is supplements. If you're buying protein and creatine and pre-workout and like all these pump and like vasodilator things, like, they're called supplements for a reason. If the rest of your diet and your workout isn't on point, those supplements just become, somebody else's normal meal throughout the day. When instead of spending, several $100s a month on supplements while doing nothing else correctly, you could just be spending that money, less than half of that price on going to Costco and getting a bunch of steak and rice and eating properly and in surplus of calories. Imagine if you did that in combination with good lifting and good rest. You would see unbelievably significantly more gains that way than trying to take the easy way and just take supplements thinking, oh, 3 scoops of whey protein, that's gonna get me jacked, when I'm eating 1,000 calories below my maintenance. So where all these supplements come into play is when I'm already eating in surplus, or at least maintenance to what my body needs, and I use supplements to supplement what I'm already eating to get me up and over the top and get that extra, 5%, 2% difference that in the long run make a big difference. All right, I'm gonna stop talking and do something. Oh man. Oh. Man, it's incredible how much, even if you go just a little bit heavier, you just do like one more rep for a couple sets earlier in the lift, how much it affects later on in the lift. But like I said, just because I'm doing, even less here on my last movement, doesn't mean I'm getting worse. Actually means I'm getting better, as the body can only go to failure for so long. It's like, hey, I tell you to take off sprinting as fast as you possibly can. How long is that going to go on for until you're just at a slow jog? For me, for most people, not very long. And going super hard till failure heavy is pretty much equivalent to sprinting. Like, it's not sustainable for a very long time. So don't get frustrated if later on in the workout you're actually doing worse. If earlier on in the workout you're doing better, like, that's fine. That's still growth. That's still progression. I'm at a point now where I'm pretty smoked. I still got some tries to do. So I'm only gonna do about 2 sets here. Like I've already said, I'm the type of guy that I do chest and back and my arms get big. So frankly, I don't really need to do that many arms. And I'm already smoked and did a bunch of push. So my tries have already been worked really hard. So I don't really, frankly, need to do that many. So I'm only gonna do 2 sets here. Going pretty heavy, probably, frankly, a little too heavy, but let's send it anyway. Oh, come on. I really like these because when your elbows stretch up over your head, that's the most lengthened position your tries can be in with resistance under them, I think. It's kind of similar to like French press, except with cable, I feel like, especially at the top, you still get the same amount of resistance as at the bottom. So I really like these. You don't really need to put these all the way down at the bottom, because then it's like super awkward to get into position. And from here, you get as much resistance at the totally stretched position as you do at the top. So going all the way down to the bottom, isn't that necessary. Oh, So I guess inadvertently, the overall theme of this workout is the easy way versus the difficult way. The difficult way isn't always the best way, and the easy way isn't always the wrong way. But that needs to be an investigated, conscious decision of why you're doing what you're doing. Like, am I doing this workout because I think that'll get me the best results, or am I doing this type of workout because it's the most fun and it's the easiest and it's the most convenient and all my friends are doing it? It's like, if you want to be the exception, if you want to be different or better than a certain group of people, relative to those people, you got to be weird. You got to be different. You got to do the different thing. You got to do the strange thing. You got to do something different to be different. So just, take a step back, look at your thoughts and your decisions and what you're doing, and make sure you're doing those for the right reason and not just because it's the easy or the quick or the fun thing, I guess I'm saying. Shit, now that I'm saying out loud, I suppose I could apply that to the other parts of my life. Yeah. All right, I'll see you next time.